Are you ready to boost your confidence when selling so you're able to close more deals? Nikki Rausch will show you how to build a foundation of skills and a mindset that creates sales success without feeling pushy or salesy and without fear of rejection. She is a sales strategist and coach with more than 25 years of sales experience and is master certified in neuro-linguistic programming. This is a radically different approach to selling. It's a no sleaze, no slime, and no stress approach to building your business. This is Sales Maven. Here's Nikki.
Welcome, and thank you for listening to the Sales Maven Show. I'm your host, Nikki Rausch. I'm here to offer you tips, techniques, and strategies to master your sales conversations. Today's episode is an on-air coaching call with one of our Sales Maven Society members, Jen Hope. Jen, welcome to the show, friend.
Hi, Nikki. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you.
I'm so excited to have you here. Now, you're a relatively newer member to the Sales Maven Society, but you and I are not new to each other because I have had the great pleasure of supporting you. I think it's been years, but it's nice to have you back in the fold, is what I'm going to say to that.
So I'm so glad to be back. And yeah, I hired you years ago for strategy and coaching support, and I'm so excited to be back in your network.
I'm so happy to have you here. I don't know if you know this, but I like to give credit where credit is due. Years ago, you had asked me to do a one-off strategy session with you. And at the time, I did not have that in my lineup. I did not do one-off strategy sessions. I really did these longer, coaching packages. But I really wanted to support you, and you had this one thing you needed some help on. And so I said yes to doing a strategy session. And I had so much fun in that strategy session with you that strategy sessions have become a key component of my business. And it's all because you asked for one.
Nikki, I remember that conversation actually when you said for you, one time only, I will do this.
Yes.
It was so boundaried and wrapped up perfectly in that sure, yeah, we'll do this one time and see how it goes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now I can't tell you how many, I sell hundreds of strategy sessions every single year. And it's because you asked. So thank you so much. I'm so grateful to you and anybody who's had a strategy session with me, you can thank Jen Hope for it because I didn't even have it in my offering until Jen was like, I just need you for this little short period of time. I have this one question I need some help with. And I love doing strategy sessions now.
And they're so valuable. I took so much from that. Really, I still remember parts of that conversation and things that you and I talked about. And it's been so impactful for me. So I'm so glad that others get to experience that now.
Well, that's all because of you. So I wanted to make sure that I shared that with you because I don't know if I had ever shared that with you. All right. Tell everybody a little bit about you and your business and who you serve.
Yeah. So in my business, startup leaders and entrepreneurs hire me to move from reactive tendencies into their most creative and masterful leadership. And what we do is we work through behavioral tendencies and leadership skills to get folks to places where they're mastering not only their individual selves, but also creating better business outcomes.
Okay, so tell me a little bit about how you work with clients. How do they come to you, work with you, all of that good stuff?
Yeah, so I work in one-on-one coaching primarily. That would be kind of my most popular offering. And then I teach workshops as well on some specific leadership tools, one of them being called DISC and another called Leadership Circle.
Mm-hmm. Okay. But typically people are coming to you and they want one-on-one. And is it are you doing one-off strategy sessions? Or are you doing longer commitments? How are they doing that with you?
Well, now you're making me reconsider. No, no, I do 6-month engagements as a starting point, and because we're really talking about behavior change, right? So that process I've seen, in 9 years of doing this now, we see that 6 months is really the starting point for behavior change. Most folks stay much, much longer because we've really hit the point of starting to see change in about 6 months. And so I have clients that I've served for 2 years plus.
I love that. And the idea that a leader should really have a coach is so important. I have to say, any leader who doesn't have a coach or isn't in between coaches, I feel like, what are you doing? That's such an important part of really honing your skills and continuing to up level what you're doing, how you're, showing up and contributing. And so thank goodness for people like you doing what you do, because it makes such a difference to the people that they're leading.
Hopefully to the person too. That's why I do what I do is because it's not only is it the person, and it's all the people that are around them, both personal and professional. That's at the heart of it.
Yeah. Good point. Thank you. All right. So this is an on-air coaching call for you, friend. So how can I serve you today?
Oh, Nikki, this is like one of those sales questions that I wonder about sometimes. And, from way back in the day where I did sales training, there was always this conversation of not trying to sell in the weeds, right? Where we're talking about specific, features or specific benefits and staying high level with the value that you're providing. And so I have these incredible tools that I use in my business that I quite honestly am so passionate about and geek out on so hard. And I probably spend more time than I could or maybe should talking about tools in early conversations or planting seeds like I'm doing in this conversation with you right into it. But I would love to talk to you about how to stay in the bigger picture and maybe talk about the tools and talk about the value they add, but really talk about more of the programmatic piece, which is this, 6 months that we spend together and coaching versus some of the tools, which could be, supplementary really to the process. They're critical for what I do. And that I think they provide us data and in these really, really beautiful, impactful insights. And they're not everything, right? The bigger picture is, folks transform and have great change. And so the question is really, what are your thoughts on staying out of the weeds and how to talk about the bigger picture and add value there? Or how do I talk about, those deeper details in a really skillful way?
Okay. So, and to clarify too, these tools are not necessarily Gen Hope tools. These are outside tools or tools that have been developed that you are using as part of your coaching. Is that correct?
Correct. So I'm certified in these tools from, another body, another organization, and they are their proprietary tools that I am certified in and a certified practitioner of.
Okay. So I love the idea of having these tools that you bring in that are going to enhance the coaching experience for the client. And I totally get this question because it's easy to get in the weeds when you spend a bunch of time kind of selling the tool, but that's actually not what you're selling. We're selling the experience, we're selling results. And so it's really important that if it was me and I got to go through your, how you were positioning your coaching offer, I might even take out any reference to the specific tool and just say, you're going to get access to my toolkit that's going to include some assessments, some this, some that. And from there, we're going to take your results and build X, Y, and Z. Because if you get too much in the weeds, then it's kind of like muddying the waters in a sales conversation. The last thing you want to do is get people going well, we're talking about this thing over here, and now we're on this subject, and then we're over here, and then they leave that conversation. Let's say that they're in the I want to think about it mode. There's too much information for them to actually think about. And my guess is it's probably slowing down the close. It's slowing down them making a decision to say yes to working with you, because if they had to explain it to somebody else, maybe they have a partner or maybe they have a trusted colleague or maybe their company's paying for it. I don't know. Is that common in your work? The company's paying?
Definitely.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely happens.
Okay. So if they're having to go to their boss and say, well, I talked with Jen and we're going to do, this assessment and we're going to do this other thing. And then the boss might be like, well, I know somebody who does that assessment. You don't need to hire Jen for the assessment. Right. And that's when that starts to diminish, because now they don't have a solid ground to stand on to make that compelling offer, essentially, because now they're selling you to their boss, right? That's saying yes to paying for the coaching or whoever else is involved in the decision. So I would be really careful unless they're asking you for real specifics. I wouldn't give a lot of specifics as far as the tools go. You can talk about your toolkit and that they're going to get access to your toolkit, but I would talk about results. And, here's what you can expect. Usually what I see with clients within the first 30 days, they have a much deeper understanding of who they are as a leader, what are their strengths, and maybe what are some of the things that are getting in their way. We're going to take that information, and over the next couple months, we're going to really dig deep into, how can we amplify the things that are going really well for you? Is there anything that we need to troubleshoot or offer some additional skill set around? And by the end of the 6 months, this is where people typically are with their coaching program. So this is what you can expect. I think that is an easier sell. So then, and also that's how you're going to lay it out to you. If you're sending them a follow-up email, or if you're sending some type of a proposal, that it's about results, or here's what you can expect. Here's typically what clients experience. And so then when they're taking it to their boss, and you're going to have these, I always think when you're saying, when there's going to be somebody else who's involved in the decision, you want to make it so easy for that person who's walking into their boss's office when the boss says, well, what are you going to know at the end of this? They can flip to that page and it's right there. It's boom, 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 bulleted. I'm going to know this. I'm going to know this. I'm going to be able to do this. And I'm going to feel much stronger about leading my team and hiring, firing, and whatever else is involved, right? Maybe I'm just making up what they would be working on with you. And so that when they walk in and they have the answers at their fingertips as far as results, then it's an easier yes, I think, for the boss to sign off on. And they're great. Let's go. It sounds like you're excited about it. Obviously, Jen knows what she's doing. Like, you guys go, let's, check in 3 months or whatever, versus them trying to say, well, I get this tool and then that's not giving any results. And that's really what the boss cares about, right? Or the person who's signing the check, is they care about results much more than the tools. And it's hard not to want to sell the tools because you love the tools and you know how awesome the tools are. And you got to kind of I would shy away from giving too much information about tools because you get them in the weeds. Tell me what questions are coming to mind or anything that's like bubbling to the surface for you.
I mean, number one, I'm doing everything I can to not furiously take notes right now. And thank goodness I will get to hear this again because I love some of the things you said, right? Like the way that you described the coaching process with the uncovering of strengths and the uncovering of, the areas that we need to troubleshoot and some of those things that like describe it so well. And because this is what I do every day, it's so nice to hear it reflected back. So I love that. And then there's this element too, where specifically with one of the tools I use, it's in the Leadership Circle profile, like there's a deep body of research that they've done that talks about leadership effectiveness. And you'll get we can do a 360 where, you've got 20 folks who are giving you feedback on all these evaluations and things. And so it's deep and it's rich. And we've got even a normative score. So it's got you compared to a database of 200,000 global leaders. And it's like really rich. And one of the things that they talk about a lot is the way that a business cannot outperform the effectiveness of its leaders. And it really being leadership, specifically in leadership effectiveness and building this leadership toolkit being this incredible lever. And there's this whole really truly body of research that supports that how effective we are as leaders really determines how effective our business can be and how much it can grow. And I'm curious, how do you message that in a way that says like, we are limiting our business outcome if we don't focus on this? Because I'm not like, I don't do scare tactic, right? Like I think folks miss this point that we do leadership development, yes, because it is great for the people around us, the bigger picture, this is truly impacting growth, revenue, these bigger picture elements that say we cannot scale without, we have this opportunity essentially to like lift this lever. I'm lifting the lever over here. That is leadership development. And so I'm curious how you bring this, really kind of scientific conversation to this conversation and say some of the things that you just said, and then how do we add in this element of, and here's some of the research that supports why we need this.
Okay. So first, I would think about in your discovery process, one of your probably crucial questions that you're going to need to ask is, what are up to 3 primary focuses of your business this year? And if you're talking to them from a corporation, like of the corporation, is it, bringing on new clients, making more sales? Is it improving, employee retention? Like, what are those 3 key things that are so crucial to the success of your organization? Do you know what those are? And let them answer. Okay. Now, once you've got that answer, when you're in the proposal step of the conversation, you would bring it in there, I think. You would say, based on what you had shared in our discussion, the 3 key things that you mentioned that are crucial to your success of your business this year are this, this, and this. Now, I'm not sure if you're aware of all of the research that's out there, but there is a huge body of research that proves that a business can never outperform its leadership. So you investing in your leadership right now is the way to really achieve these results that you want. So we're going to bring a lot of this leadership research into the work that we do and give you some additional tools that are going to, it's all backed by research that we're going to show you how to, like, what's your leadership style? What are the things that are really working? What are some things that we need to really pay attention to so that you can continue to reach this next level that your business is attaining? That's probably how I would bring it in from a research. So notice I'm not getting into the weeds about the research, because again, it's so easy to want to geek out about it because you love it and it's super exciting. But for somebody who's hearing about it for the first time, and also somebody who is in a leadership role, probably wants to grow their own, like has some goals as far as personal and professional development, but also maybe some goals around contributing to their team and all of the things that make a leader. They have those goals, but that's not their job, right? Leadership is not it kind of is, but it's not like it's probably not something they think about every day, all day long. They're thinking more about, how do I, get my team to be more productive? How do we get this product to launch, or whatever it is that's their like primary focus of the team or that aspect of their department. So this idea of leadership, if you get too much into the weeds with them around it, even though it's really fun and exciting for you, you're going to overwhelm them. And then they won't be able to talk about it when they're going in to pitch, to get approval, to do the coaching with you. Now, once they've signed on, they've signed on to the contract, they're now in the 6-month commitment with you. I would bring the research into maybe think about where do you bring it in the coaching program, where you might say, now, stick with me for the next 15 minutes because we're going to really geek out on this leadership research. And we're going to talk about this next step, that has to do with this 360 and having, bringing people in from your team. We're going to get some crucial feedback from them. But I just want to explain a little bit about it. And so if you're willing, let me just, kind of dive in, and then we'll see what questions bubble to the surface for you. That's probably how I would bring it in.
So great. It's so measured.
Yeah. It's easy to want to give people everything all the time. Like, there's so much I want. And believe me, I'm so guilty of fire hose. Like, I can fire hose people so easily. I love sales. I love talking about money. I love talking about conversations and communication and all of that. And I love bringing my NLP work into it too. that's too much for somebody who's hearing it for the first time or the second time or the 30th time, frankly. It's like you got to piece it out a little bit because they have to be able to digest. They're hearing it for probably the first time, or frankly, they're hearing it from you in the way you're delivering it the first time. So you got to slow down. You got to give it in little bite-sized pieces.
Love that. All
right. Any other thing kind of bubbling to the surface here? I just want to check in with you as we kind of wrap up this part of the coaching.
I think this is great. I love it. I tried really hard to take notes, but I had to write down the 3 primary focuses. I thought that was such a great question. I had to write it down. It's really bold. Thank you. I love that. Well,
it's there for you. Yeah, you'll have access to the recording, so you can go back and listen. And of course, you have access to me in the Sales Maven Society too. So if you're thinking about something, you're like, "What was that?" or "I don't remember why we were saying this here or that there," just ask, because I'll happily give you some more around that. Okay. All right. So as we wrap up today, I always like to end with 2 questions for you as the guest. First is, what's one benefit you've received from being in the Sales Maven Society?
I have definitely more than one. I have quite a few, but the best one that I've experienced very recently is the way that we interact inside the Sales Maven Society around seeking feedback. So being able to come to the community and say, "Hey, I've got, this client, here's where I am in the sales process." And there's some step-by-step support going from where I am. I'm writing this email. Can you help me tweak it? Can the community help me come together? Specifically, Nikki, you're so masterful at this in helping to create a them-focused email, right? A you-focused email for the person that you're sending these emails to. I love that so much. And then being able to come together, like I see so many folks come together in smaller conversations, but then there's these other community gatherings that networking opportunities and Q&A sessions, and so it's really fun just to see even the exposure to your network where you can connect directly to others or just take in some of these incredibly talented folks who are coming and, both participating, but also teaching and facilitating in the group is really awesome.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's such a great group. It's one of those things, like it's hard to shout it enough from the rooftops. And of course, me shouting it because it's my group. It sounds like I'm making it about me, but it's so not about me. The group has created it's really its own community outside of me. And it's so amazing. And I just feel really honored to get to be a part of it and to, get to interact with people and see all the engagement and how many people have built these really strong connections and relationships outside of the groups, but also it's a really supportive group, would you say? Like they're just so loving and supportive of each other.
Yeah, that comes so much from your leadership too. It's really friendly. I appreciate that too. Like the support is, it feels really authentic. There's not a lot of pretense. Things stay very professional, but it's also really human. And I appreciate that too. It makes it really easy. I'm new, right? I've been, only a month or so and feel comfortable doing, an on-air coaching call and doing these posts in a Facebook group. Like that's not typical. These are not typical results from this person. So yeah, it's definitely brought down my guard a little bit to participate, which is nice.
Oh, that's so good. Thank you for sharing that. So everybody who's listening that's a part of the Sales Maven Society, what Jen just shared is because of you, because of how friendly and engaging, welcoming and loving each and every one of you are. And it just makes such a difference. So thank you for that. All right. So my last question for you is, how can people get a hold of you? What's the way for them to come connect with Jen Hope and get some leadership coaching with you?
Yeah. So 2 main ways. You can find me on Instagram at HeyJenHope, HeyJenHope. And then my website, heyjenhope.com. That's where you can get more information about coaching and contact me directly and set up a time for a discovery call.
Yeah. So please connect with Jen and follow her on Instagram. Thank you so much for saying yes. I always feel really honored when people will say yes to doing an on-air coaching call, especially when they are fairly new to the group. I know you and I are not new to each other, but new to the group, and be willing to come on and say yes. So thank you for that. Okay. For you as the listener, if you're not yet a part of the Sales Maven Society, what are you waiting for? What's stopping you from joining? Please come and check us out. You can join by going to salesmavensociety.com. And as a matter of fact, if you enter this coupon code I'm going to give you, it will save you $100 off your first month of group coaching. So enter the coupon code 47 trial. That's the number 4, the number 7 trial. You can come for your first month for only $47. We would love to have you come check us out and see if this is a place where you want to hang out, get feedback, get direction, and really connect with amazing entrepreneurs. Thank you so much for listening. Have a great rest of your day.
Thanks for listening to Sales Maven. Visit us online at yoursalesmaven.com/maven for more resources to boost your confidence and skills.